Guys, what's the crack? Bitcoin with Dinny, it's Dinny here. I'm taking off for the weekend. I'm heading down the country with my dad. There's a motorbike festival on. An old circuit called Faheen in Tipperary, where both of us raced. So it's been on the go a long time, and there's no racing this year, unfortunately, but there is an event on. So I'm bringing him down. We've restored his old race bike, and we're looking forward to an amazing weekend, have a bit of crack. I thought I'd hop on because there's a good few new people came to the channel recently, and just sort of let people know how I done what I done. Okay, how did I manage to get myself in a position of early retirement, to be retired under 40? Now I'm not under 40 anymore, I'm 42, but I just want to give people the steps I took, because I think it is achievable for everybody. It's just that you have to do things a little bit different. And so not really Bitcoin related, but it's more mindset related, and investing in Bitcoin is 100% your mindset will determine your success or your failure. So mindset's pretty important, and that's what I'm going to chat to you about just while I'm heading over here to pick up the old man. So 20 years ago, it was 2004. Okay, I was in my early 20s, 22 I think, and I was coming to the end of my career of racing motorbikes. I've been racing bikes from 2000 to 2005, road racing. Amazing time in my life, but a lot of friends and people I was racing against all got killed. So I knew, Dinny, you can't do this. All right, I was living for motorbikes. I decided I needed a new hobby, I needed a new buzz, I needed to do something that would scare me but wouldn't kill me, because from being around road racing, which is racing on closed roads, on public roads, and it's insanely dangerous, so many people I race with are all dead now, so I knew that it wasn't a long-term thing, but I needed to find a buzz to replace it. So I decided I'd try surfing back in 2004, and that's when I started to surf. And straight away I got this passion for surfing, for riding a wave, and I got a buzz, and I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Surfing's got to be my new thing. And I was sort of afraid of the water as well. I wasn't a great swimmer, so I was like, this is perfect. Surfing is going to scare the shit out of me and give me a buzz. This is going to be my new hobby. I'm going to give up road racing. However, what I didn't realize is when you become a surfer, you become someone who... Surfing's not like motorbiking. Motorbiking happens at the weekend, the tracks are open, you go to the track. Surfing happens whenever the weather conditions are on. When it's on, it's on. And therefore, if you have a 9-to-5 job and you work Monday to Friday, the chances are you miss majority of the good surf. So and there's a point to this story. So when I became a surfer, I'd be at home, because I was a metal fabricator at the time, steel fabricator, and I'd be on the job and the surf be unreal. I'd be looking at the charts going, oh my God, it's offshore, there's a 15-second period, there's an 8-foot swell rolling in, that is going to be absolutely unreal. And I'm stuck here in this job and I want to be surfing. And every weekend I drive to the West Coast on a Friday evening and come back on a Monday evening and surf all weekend. But it broke my heart when I'd be stuck in work and I'd be missing the best surf. So I was like, right, I need to set up my life in a way where I have freedom, so that I'm able to go surfing. Wherever the surf is on, I can go. So 20 years ago I says, all right, Dinny, the only way to do that is to get rich. Let's try and retire before 45, and if we can retire before 45, if you put the head down and retire before 45, and then you can do all the surfing you want. At 45 years of age, you'll still be agile enough, if you stay healthy, that you will have the physicality to be able to surf and enjoy it. And I was like, and if I get the job done sooner, all the better. But I'm not going to do this 9-to-5 till I'm 60, till I'm nearly 70, and miss out on all the good surf for the rest of my life. This is not happening. So I began my journey of understanding investing, understanding money, understanding business, understanding wealth creation, understanding how to change my mindset, understanding accountability, understanding coaching. And I started to read books. Okay, and I started reading books on my mindset to change my mindset, because ultimately my mindset was the problem. If I wanted to change my life, I had to change my mind. So I started doing a lot of personal development. I started dabbling into business. once I realized, okay, business is the secret. People who create businesses are able to create freedom. But you don't earn money immediately. It actually takes a long time to earn the money. When you start a business, like the irony is, anyone here is an entrepreneur will understand this. The irony of going into business is we go into business so we can have more freedom. And then we go from working 40 hours a week for someone else to working every hour God sends when we work for ourselves. So we work 80 hours a week for ourselves, or 100 hours a week. I've done all that. You know, and you're like, I went into business for freedom. I wanted freedom, so I stopped working for that guy, started my own business, and now I've half as much freedom as I used to have when I worked for someone else. But that's the irony. But this is the thing with retiring early, with investing. It's all about delayed gratification. I knew I was building something. And there was times in my life where friends of mine were buying houses. Initially I was living in the caravan. That was out of choice. I had money. I had enough money where I could have been renting a little apartment. But I was like, no, I can put this money into this apartment and it'll look nice and it'll be a nice place to bring any girls back to, you know, it'd look cool. No one wants to go back to a feckin' caravan, Dinny. But I was like, no. I want to change this situation. Remember, I'm retiring before I'm 45 or at 45, so I need to do things different than the regular folk. So I'm not going to move out and get an apartment where not more people do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this mobile home because it costs me feck all to live here. And now I've money to save, to pump into my business, to pump into myself, to pump into getting coaching, to pump into flying around the world, to do an internship with someone, or to do a workshop, or to attend an event that's going to help me invest. So I invested heavily into myself, and I invested massive time into my business. And I'd love to tell you, like, after 2 years, everything was great, or after 3 years, everything was great, or even after 6 years, it was like, yeah, I'm on the way there, I'm nearly retired. It wasn't like that at all. It was a full 10 years before I actually seen the fruits of my labor. Okay? But the beauty of it is, I enjoyed the journey because I was working, because I created a plan and a goal for myself, and I knew that when I achieved this, I get to go surfing anytime I want, and I love surfing so much that was just so much motivation. I was like, yeah, fair enough, now I'm missing the surf and I'm going to miss it next year, and in 5 years time I'm going to miss those amazing swells as well. But I've got a goal that I'm exiting this system at 45 or before 45. Now I did manage to achieve it a lot earlier than that, and this is the beauty of setting goals. Nobody is ever disappointed when they achieve their goals in a faster time frame than they set it for themselves. I actually managed to hit my freedom before I hit 40 rather than 45. When you're building something for yourself, it makes it much easier to do hard things. Okay, so although I wasn't earning big money and things weren't coming easy, every step it's hard to describe, because there was times when I'd have green eyes of jealousy and I'd be looking at my friends going, oh, they just bought a house. Should I not be buying a house, getting a mortgage and layering up with a bit of debt and just, you know, doing the status quo? Stay the course, Dinny. No. I've shared this before, but I cut down all my spending. Once I stopped, I used to motorbike race, and I gave up that in 2005 was my last season, and then I went away to Australia surfing, and then I decided, right, surfing's the new buzz. And but once surfing's free, so I cut my cost of living right down. I pared everything right back. All right. When I went shopping, I shopped in Aldi. I bought the cheapest stuff. I bought the bulk stuff. I was eating well, but my diet was super simple. And I was in amazing shape by eating well and keeping it simple. Now I can afford the biscuits, lads. It's a pity. But I never bought anything like that. There was no junk, no eating out. In terms of clothing, I never bought clothes. A friend of mine was a similar size and he was into his fashion, so he used to throw away his clothes. I was in his house one day, I seen a bag of stuff. I was like, what's that? It's like, oh, I'm throwing them out. I looked in the bag, I was like, never throw this out. You give this to me from now on, forever. And, you know, and that was a way of saving myself ever having to buy any clothes. And I would be very frugal with everything that I done. everything was about just saving money and having more money to invest into my business and invest into myself so I could continue to make myself worth more. People think it's about investing into Bitcoin or finding an asset. Nothing to do with that. It's about investing into you. You are the asset. If you invest into yourself, you make yourself more valuable, you make yourself worth more, and then you can create any amount of wealth in the world. So as the time went on, business started doing better, and then I would grow the business. I brought in more staff, and you know, things were looking good, and then other opportunities would come for other business and little investments, but it was a full 10 years. But I went from, in that 10-year stretch, I went from working a job where I hated going to work, I was missing surf, I wasn't earning amazing money, to 10 years later, a full decade. Now, a decade's a long time, I understand that, okay? A decade later, having a business up and running that sort of ran itself, that I didn't have to be there for, that I had a lot of free time to do what I wanted when I wanted, and I had nice cash flow coming in without having to be there and exchange my time for it. A full 10 years. And was it worth it? It absolutely was, because I was, back then, you know, when I was in my 20s, I was thinking, well, if I slog this out for 15 years and I reach this freedom number, well then, please God, I might have 10 years, 20 years to do whatever I want whenever I want. So it is worth it to work extra hard now and not have the nice things today and try and build something so that the future is much brighter. Now, Bitcoin is really like that, because with Bitcoin, it gives people hope. People understand that you can spend your money in Bitcoin now, but in Bitcoin terms, it's going to be worth more in the future. So you're more incentivized to build a better future, because you know the future is bright by saving in Bitcoin. You're more incentivized to defer your gratification. You're more incentivized to keep yourself healthy, to look after yourself, to have the crack, because it's not about spending now. It's about the future is going to be bright, so I can create an amazing future by deferring my gratification. That's one of the things I absolutely love about Bitcoin, is it encourages people to change their mindset for the better. Guys, do me a favor, do your daily exercise. I was at the gym this morning. Look at that pump. Hit the like button for me, please. And while I'm just on off-topic stuff, you should actually try fasting, because it's the secret weapon in your health. If you're trying to build muscle, secret weapon. I train the gym now these days maybe once a week. Once a week. The amount of muscle I can put on with one session, I'm like, geez, if I actually trained the gym 5 days a week like some lads, I'd be a fucking animal. But fasting's amazing. Bitcoin for your wealth, fasting for your health. So yeah, scurrying away, delaying gratification, working hard, and reinvesting. Okay, it wasn't a case of, where people go wrong is, the employee mindset is, I worked an hour today, so I need to be paid for that hour now. Whereas the investor's mindset, or the entrepreneur's mindset, is, I worked an hour today, but this hour is going to come back to me. It's going to come back to me 10-fold or 100-fold, but not today. Probably not tomorrow, probably not next week. So that's really different, because you don't get paid automatically for your work. I worked on so many things growing up and learning my trade, and wasted so much time on stuff that I lost money. And even now I lose money. Like, I ran a thing there 2 months ago, and it was a business venture. It was a flop. It cost me 4.5 grand, you know, in a loss. But thankfully now that I'm a more successful entrepreneur, that doesn't hurt me. It doesn't really matter. It's just a lesson. Whereas many years ago, that would have hurt me a lot. You know, so even today, I don't get everything perfect all the time. I still learn, I still make mistakes, but I don't make the same mistake twice. And the beauty of learning, investing into yourself and building something yourself, okay, is the law of compounding. And the law of compounding is that the more you do something, everything that I do today, I've all the experience from many years ago layered into that decision, okay? And everything that I do today and the results that I get, I have all that experience in the present for my future decisions. So every time I do things, I'm better at it. In business, I'm better. In investing, I'm better. I'm constantly better. So I'm constantly learning, constantly refining. And it's really magical. And I'd encourage everyone, start a side hustle, okay? Do something, because it's not that you have to, but if you can build and find something that you're passionate about and bring value to the market and help people, like everything, all my businesses are things I'm passionate about. I have a business in fasting, I have a business in Bitcoin, and I have a business in Bitcoin custody. And I also have ownership in a fitness business and a couple of other little small ventures, but they're all things that I'm really passionate about and really enjoy doing. And I know that I bring value to people by doing them. So I'm able to come with high energy, and people like that. And people, enjoy that and people get good results from that, and that in turn motivates me to go, you know, it's not work. It's not like like when I used to work in steel fabricating and I was, you know, welding away, grinding away, sparking my eye into the eye near hospital, all right, back to work, Jesus, cutting a bit of steel, sparking the boot, burn the foot off yourself, you know. And some people will be passionate about that work, because my dad was. He's so passionate about his steel work and he's really good at it. But I didn't share that passion. It just didn't do it for me. I didn't love it, like, and I love what I do now, but my dad actually, like, so it's not a case that everyone has to do the same thing. There's variety. We'll all love and like and enjoy doing different things. For me, steelwork, I really didn't like it. And I wasn't good at it as well. I think that was part of the problem. I was pretty good at it. I wasn't good at it. I think I was one of only 4 apprentices ever in the history of the fabrication to get 100% in every exam in the whole apprenticeship, to get merits or something. But so I was actually very good at it, but my dad's an absolute genius, so when I would compare myself to him, I was like, I'm terrible at this thing. But hey, that's the ego. That was before I understood personal development. Maybe if I worked on personal development, I might have been able to fall in love with the steelwork a bit better. But yeah, and it just took time and just doing the right thing, and being around people and networking and trying to give people value and expecting nothing back in return, and trying to push out value. And you'll see that's what I do now, even with Bitcoin With Dinny. I do so much lives. I try and give people so much information, and it's all for free. And a lot of people eventually are, not all of them, but some of them inevitably just become a customer, and it's a very easy sale because they see the amount of value that they get for free. They're like, well, what the hell do you get in the Retire Early Club? Well, what the hell do you get off me looking after your portfolio for 2 years? Hundreds of thousands in returns, because that's what we had with a client this week. But that's why I've done it, and that's what I learned over the years is just trying to put out the value, work on yourself, find things you're passionate about and build them, and know that there's going to be hard times. The ultimate lesson is to know that once you make the decision, you go, that's it, I'm changing. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. So if you're not disciplined, if you don't have the strength to realize that, and you think, I'm going to start a business. I see so many people, they don't even last a year. It's like, business is way harder than people think. The grass is always greener. And in every other business venture I go into, if as an entrepreneur you knew how hard it was going to be, you'd never start the business. That's the beauty of it, is that entrepreneurs are optimists. We always think, that'll be handy enough. I think I'll be able to do that. But in hindsight, you're like, oh my God, if you knew how hard it would be, you'd never start. Okay? So it's going to be difficult. Once you're aware of that, but once you're aware of the goal you're working towards, you're building towards, all right? You're working hard because in the future you're not going to have to work. And that's why you work extra hard. And one way I sort of described it, because, you know, I remember I used to get up at 6 a.m, I'd be doing classes, then I'd be working all the way through the day, trying to do promotional stuff and marketing and operations stuff, and then I'd be working all evening with clients when I was in the fitness industry. And then I'd look at my mates, and they were doing a 9 to 5, and they had a company car. And I was like, am I mad? Like, I'm as smart as them. I could do what they're doing, no problem. But here I am, and I'm working like 12, 14 hours. But the thing is, the way I see it is, I got to retire under 40, but maybe I done the hours work of someone who's to 60. But rather than working the 40-hour week, I worked the 80-hour week. So I was getting 2 years of work done in a year of normal people's work, and I'm very efficient and I work hard. Okay, so maybe I was getting 3 years of normal people work done, or 4 years of normal people work done in 1 year. And I think that's what it takes. It's not that you get lucky, it's just that you have to be prepared to work. And who was it taught me that? A workaholic. Alex Hormozy, he was my coach nearly 10 years ago. He's a big deal now, he's all over the internet, marketing genius. But I hired him for a year and a half. I worked with Alex, and he just taught me about work ethic. Now, I think Alex works too hard because he's made all the money in the world and he just wants to work more. But for him, working is his surfing. I only want to work so I can go and do the fun stuff. Well, that's not fully true. I actually do enjoy working now. That's why I have my businesses and I stay in the game and do a little bit. But yeah, it's a realization, everything you built, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be harder than you think, but you're going to work harder now so you don't have to work in the future. If you want to make that trade, it's doable. Everyone can do it. Okay. And if you want to layer in a Bitcoin element, that will make it easier. It will make you get there faster, and we'd love to teach you how. Check out Bitcoin with Dinny, join Retire Early Club. I'll teach you everything I've done to retire early. Okay, all the practical steps. Or if you just want to build a Bitcoin pension, Bitcoin portfolio, Bitcoin investment plan, and you want to custody it correctly, check out our consulting. I'll go through everything. We can get the job done, because there's an opportunity cost for dragging your feet. I had a client in today, and we are hundreds of thousands up since last year. It was a big bet, massive returns, really happy. But I also had a phone call last week from a client who was booked in to come and see me, didn't show up, and has cost himself hundreds of thousands, because the investment we were going to do would have been hundreds of thousands of returns. And don't worry, I told him that. I said, see, your procrastination hurt you. Listen to your friends, hurt you. Oh, do it yourself. Cost him hundreds of thousands. So don't procrastinate, you get punished. The best decision I ever made to help me retire early is because I hired help. I reinvested. As soon as I had capital, I didn't put it in the bank. I didn't invest into assets. I reinvested into coaches to help me become better, to help me run the business better, to help me run my investments better. And then I got the massive returns. So it's all about investing. It's all about working on yourself. It's all about working hard. It's all about delaying your gratification. And it's there for the taking, guys. Anyone can have it. In this modern age, it's getting easier and easier in business now. There's so much tools now to make your life easier. So go get it. Go get yours if you want it. Guys, I'm going to hop off here, get a bit of diesel, go over collect my dad. We're going down to Faheen to the motorbike show. If you're following me on Instagram, we've been restoring this bike for the last couple of months. I'm going to have some pictures up on Instagram, give you a look at her when she's on display tomorrow.